we shine a light on a trailblazing captain in the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office, a woman whose journey proves that hard work, resilience, and an unwavering faith in your calling will always make room for your purpose.
So I started in 2007. When I first came to the sheriff's office, Sheriff Weber was the warden then.
She's a product of Donaldsonville, so she is also policing in the community that she grew up in.
I run the historic District 1, which is Donaldsonville, Louisiana, which is my hometown. So for me, I say that my primary responsibility is taking care of home.
They come here as a young adult, and they grow in this arena in law enforcement. And that's been important to us, to have people come young and we retain them to have not jobs, but have careers in law enforcement.
In order for me to fully do the job, which meant being able to go out and do compliance checks, Sheriff Weber called me in one day and said, you know, in order for you to do that, you're going to have to go to the academy. And I'm like, okay. He says, but after you're done with the academy, you have to go to patrol for a little while. Well, guess what? That was never a part of my plan. That wasn't what I saw my future to be. So of course, when I first heard that, I was devastated. And I remember going and sitting down and talking to my mother's mom, my grandmother. And I told her, I said, Grandma, I have to go to the academy. And she said, the police academy? And I said, yes, ma'am. She said, you're going to be a police officer? I said, yes, ma'am. And she closed her eyes and she meditated. And that was something she always did. And she opened her eyes and she looked at me. You will not believe this, and I hope I don't get emotional saying it, but she said, you're going to be a captain one day. And I said, oh, wow, I receive it. But I'm thinking, yeah, not with the career path that I'm choosing. I'm only doing this so that I can get back to pretrial to continue to do with what I think I'm supposed to be doing. But God saw it different. God said that wasn't my journey. So I went to the academy. I went to patrol, got through FTO. I remember one of the deputies, he's now a Lieutenant Wright. I remember when I first started on patrol, he said, you're going to have to patrol your people. Some of them are not going to like the decisions that you're going to have to make, but you have to make those decisions. You have to do the right things. And I took that and I kept that with me throughout my entire career. In 2012, I put in a letter to go into investigations. Now, before going into investigations, I was being mentored by Captain Joanne Gautreaux, who was the captain over juvenile investigations. And she was grooming me to be a juvenile detective as a deputy. So I would go to a lot of classes on juvenile investigations, elderly abuse. That's what I was being groomed for. So that's what I was excited about. And the day that I got that phone call to tell me that I was going to become a detective, I didn't get it from Captain Joanne Gautreaux. I got it from Lieutenant Chris Moody. And he told me, he said, you'll be coming to the criminal investigation division as a detective. He didn't say juvenile. So that means instead of working juvenile cases, I was going to work adult cases, which meant God was showing me again, what you think your journey is not your journey. So I took a lot of cases and I held them close to my heart because I wanted to give families and victims closure. And I think that's what helped to mold me into what I've become today as a captain, like nurturing and taking everything seriously and wanting to do the right job and making sure that you got the right person.
You know, every sheriff's office has a mission statement, but to keep it really simple is this, and you see it across the nation: to protect and to serve. That is the true mission of any law enforcement agency, and it's especially true of the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office. Now, how you do that matters. How to protect. Well, you make sure that your deputies are well-trained, well-equipped, know their job, know our policies, know our standards. That's how you train to protect our community.
In 2020, right before COVID, Sheriff Weber gave me the opportunity to become a lieutenant on patrol, which meant I had to leave investigations, a place where I thought, I'm here for good. But again, God saw differently. So I took that opportunity. I got promoted to lieutenant, and I went back home to Donaldsonville, where I patrolled night shift with new deputies. Where you gotta, when somebody's new coming in, you have to uh, teach them the right way to do things.
And she does that very boldly. She does that with a lot of professionalism. But I do want you to know, she's captain today, not because she's a female and not because she's black. She is a captain today because she earned it, because of her integrity, because of her work ethic.
And then in January of last year, I got the opportunity to become captain, which was an honor. For so many reasons. Number one, because I do hold the title of the first female patrol captain, not female captain in a department, but patrol captain, which is something that's for me, that's deep. But I have to remember the people who helped to get me here. Some of them were women, some of them were men, some of them were black, some of them were white, but I've had many mentors along the way to get me to where I am today, and it's an honor. There's another trailblazer in my life that played a part in my career path, but she's no longer with us, and that's my aunt Edith Sullivan, who was the first female officer for Donaldsonville Police Department. And when I told her I wanted to be in law enforcement, of course, she talked about the downfalls of it and the journey that she had to go through and the things that she had to encounter because it is a male-dominated world. So it's like I want to be here to make her proud, show her that things have changed. There's nothing we can't do just because we're a woman in a male-dominated world. And I can see the newspaper article of her sitting at a desk on a phone in the uniform, and they're talking about her being the first female police officer in Donaldsonville. Like, I can see that picture now. And she looks so happy, but when you hear her talk about being a woman in a male-dominated profession, it was tough because there were people that did not believe that she belonged there. There were people that believed that she couldn't do the job. And I'm gonna tell you, when I first started, there were people who felt that way about me. However, I come from a background that you show them better than you can tell them. So I did what I needed to do to get the respect from not just the community, but the people that I worked with. So I think that makes her proud today to know that things have changed. And knowing that you have those people who they cheer you on the entire way, it's touching. It's emotional for me. And like I said, I'm trying to keep it together because when I think about everybody who's helped me along the way, I know there's people I'm going to miss because there's so many who believed in me and who helped me along the way. So I try to take that and I try to give that to the upcoming generation of law enforcement, whether they be male, whether they be female, whether they be black, whether they be white, whether they be Latina, whatever. I try to mentor them in the way that I was mentored, which was straightforward, honest, and making sure that I didn't get in any troubles along the way.
I know she represents Donaldsonville well. She represents her local community well. She represents the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office very professionally, which means that I can send her anywhere. She could do any job, and if she ever becomes sheriff, she'll probably be a better sheriff than I am.
It's about serving, it's about protecting, it's about being a part of the community, being that voice for the community and helping the community. So if anybody wanted to do it and they're looking at this, my response is just do it. Like, come be a part of making a difference in the community that you live in. I live here. I'm from Ascension Parish, born and raised. So I'm a part of keeping where I live safe. I'm a part of making sure that the people coming up, the next generation of law enforcement officers, are trained properly. I I have a daughter who looks at me every day, and there's things that I tell her, there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing that you can't accomplish. So every day that I put the uniform on, I have to make sure that I tell that to myself so that I can be that example for her, that there's nothing you cannot do. There's nothing that you cannot accomplish.